feeling a little bit like John Wick right now.
One, two.
Good morning to everybody tuning in. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Shout out to X, formerly known as Twitter. Shout out to YouTube, LinkedIn, Rumble. We're about to go on TikTok.
I like it. Stay. like it.
Welcome to the breakdown. Welcome. Welcome to the show, sponsored by Gemini. This is 494. We are 6 episodes away from 500. 500 episodes. Holy shit. Charles will be back, I believe, in October. He's currently touring. I believe he's in Japan, if I'm right. I think he's in Japan, and obviously, due to his travels, he can't come on. But that's okay, because he'll be back in the next 2 weeks, and we'll be back to talking about politics. Obviously, the election is almost here. I think it's we're 42 days out from finding out who will be the next president of the United States of America. We shall touch on Cardano. We'll touch on the entire ecosystem. So that'll be cool. That'll be cool to have Charles back. So shout out to Charles. I mean, Charles is doing his thing, doing his world tour and stuff. By the way, as I was saying, the breakdown, episode 494. Holy shit. Episode 494. We've come a long way. I got to tell you, we've come a long way. Started as a magazine, and now we have content all over the place. Now we're reporting on events, reporting on news, not just crypto, everything that is trending and being talked about in the world today. Wow. Who would have fucking thought? Who would have thought a bootstrap magazine would turn into a news media outlet for those to participate and have a voice in? That is amazing. Man, is that fucking awesome. That is fucking awesome. 500 episodes though on the breakdown, nearing 500, 6 episodes away. That is fucking dope. I thought I'd be canceled by episode 3 due to the way I speak and the certain words that I use. But holy fuck, we are here. And we are here. So shout out to everybody who made it happen. 500 is going to be a celebration. That's right. Unofficially, it's probably more, but officially, it's going to tap 500. So yesterday, obviously I wasn't on, but before I get to yesterday, sponsored by Gemini. Sponsored by Gemini. Click on the link, sign up, trade $1,000 in crypto, get $100 in Bitcoin. Terms apply, but get $100 for signing up. To Gemini. That's dope shit, right? Usually you get absolutely nothing for signing up to an exchange, but here Gemini is literally telling you, click my goddamn link, sign up, and get $100 in Bitcoin. Others are not doing that. No other exchange is doing that. No other exchange is for the people. You understand that? No other exchange is for the people. Okay? And they just listed Dog with Hat. Who knows? Who knows who might be next? I don't know, but I'm just putting it out there. It seems like they've noticed the meme economy. I'm just putting it out there. They've noticed the memes. Powered by G Media. Shout out to G Media. Shout out to the COO of G Media, Leslie Moda. She's out there in these streets. She's all over the place. She's taking G Media to new levels. Let's fucking go. Shout out to Tammy. Shout out to everybody who's a part of the G Media family. I see Big in here. Big with the weather reports in the morning. You're not bullish enough on those weather reports. Ain't nobody breaking down the weather like Big says. Shout out to everybody though, putting their time and effort into helping build this company. For those that were here in the past and those that have stayed and are here for the future and building the future. We're about to take shit over, but we're silent about it. All right. Listen, yesterday, I couldn't do the show. I couldn't do the show yesterday because I think somebody tried to food poison me. That is right, ladies and gentlemen. I know in my heart that somebody tried to food poison me. It's not even tried. I think I had food poisoning. I think somebody tried to kill me. Hey, and I just want to let everybody know I would never kill myself. Just putting it out there, I would never kill myself. I'm telling you right now. I was strong. I battled, okay? I battled the entire day. I was like, ain't no way. Ain't no way they're going to take me out. Ain't no way I'm going out. Ain't no fucking way. Ain't no way. But I did have to go and take a day off. I did have to postpone meetings and postpone the show. I know you motherfuckers missed me. By the way, I was on Spaces the night before I had to cancel out the show. One of the biggest Spaces. And we talked about memes, and we also talked about it's time for you to recognize that you need to be working with each other and not against one another, because you ain't gonna do shit working by yourself. You need more eyes, you need more ears to be out there. You need a crew. You need to be surrounded with people that know what the fuck they're doing. Don't be out here by yourself. It's not fun being here by yourself. And it's good to go ahead and at least talk to people. You don't talk to people you're stuck in your house. You might as well make some friends. I got an obnoxious text message just now from Leslie Moda. And Leslie Moda is stating that I still think you canceled because you were up all night in Spaces. When I keep saying that I believe somebody tried to kill me and I survived. Here's the thing, I survived and I'm back. And I'm back doing the show for the people, because this is the people's show. This is the people's show. Okay? This is the people's show. The people know and acknowledge me. Anyway, episode 494. We're closing in on 500. Closing in on 500. The market is fucking sending. You're not bullish enough, are you? You're not bullish enough. I don't feel it. I don't think you're bullish enough. Damn, I'm sexy. Sorry, I just had to look at myself. But I don't think you're bullish enough. Ladies and gentlemen, you're not bullish enough on these markets. I don't know what I got to do. I don't know how much energy I got to put out here. While y'all been crying, I was talking my shit. I was telling y'all, the fuck you scared of? You got money on the sidelines. They're waiting. They're waiting for a signal. They got their signal. You're not bullish enough. Higher. So much higher. And I'm buying today. I'm buying live today up in this bitch. I'm buying. West Side. Yo, I swear to God, I'm buying. I was buying on the spaces the night I was in spaces where somebody tried to take my life. That's right. I'm out here still. Episode 494. You know how we do. Why you crying, son? Man, all the chats, the YouTube chat, the LinkedIn chat, Rumble chat, X chat, holy shit, everybody's talking. That's what I love to fucking see. I love to see this energy. Holy fuck. I love this energy. Love it. Let me look at this fucking. What the fuck? Don't ever tell me to look at a chart while I'm live. No, boo, I don't know who's on fucking LinkedIn. But there are professional people tuning in. And I've worked with a lot of these people in the past before, I went full time into crypto and, started building G Media and shit. Hold on, why the fuck is the camera like this? 1 second, man. There you go. Camera's like leaning there. I'm like I'm fighting the camera here, man. I'm fighting it. I'm fighting the motherfucking camera. Just like. All right, listen. The market's a fucking sending. Okay? The market's ascending. And they're about to go ahead and send big time. Big time. Listen, it took me about 45 minutes to do my hair. Forget about the fixing the camera part. It took me 45 minutes to do my goddamn hair. Okay? I was so tired. Yo, anybody who has hair, you know what I'm talking about? Right after the shower, I'm waiting for my hair to dry out, and I'm doing my hair, and it's just not fucking working, bro. Every possible thing that I'm doing to try to make my hair look like it's on point, fleeked out. Yeah, nothing's working. Nothing. I'm in my bathroom, and at this point, I'm praying to God. At this point, I'm like, Jesus, what is happening? My hair, I'm telling you, it's usually like the first, if you have hair, you'll understand this. It's the first time you get it right, but then you're like, oh, I can fix it up a little bit. And then you like touch it, and then it just like fucks up. And the entire time you're trying to fucking get it back to the first goddamn fucking look that you went ahead and put on. I don't know how to explain this shit to people that don't got hair, okay? But I'm like I'm trying everything. And then 45 minutes later, and I see the time, I'm looking at the time, I'm like, fuck, man, I'm fucking late. And I didn't have a show yesterday, and the people are gonna be mad. And I'm looking, I'm fuck. So I did my hair, and then the rest was history. Everything is easy from then on in. Listen, I held a space that night. Shout out to everybody who holds spaces. I retired from spaces, and I'll stay retired, but holy fuck, I do not miss hosting spaces. I said I will stay on for 30 minutes and I will buy as I stay on, and I'll just have a conversation with a few people that join in. Well, next, 20 minutes later, there are 300 people in the room, and everybody's like, and we have a conversation, and I'm like, I swear to God, I'm not going past an hour. 4:30 a.m. 5 hours later, I'm still on Spaces, okay? But things were addressed that needed to be addressed. And something that I didn't even address here, hold on one second. I didn't get a chance to address this here. Okay. And I'm going to say this once, and I'm not going to be repetitive, and I won't turn it into a long fucking monologue, but this is my boy, right? I consider him like a bro, a brother, okay? Forget about saying bro. I consider him to be a brother. And I know this space is losing its mind when you start attacking Sakasa. You are losing your mind. Period. Like, essentially at that point, the top is in on fuckery. The top is in on fuckery when you go after someone who has probably helped a ton of individuals in this space get their feet up. Period. You guys also have platforms. And if Sakasa has ever done anything to help you level up in this industry or outside of it, if you've had conversations with him where he's made you feel better, because I know he does that. If you've had the privilege to go ahead and speak to him one-on-one, if you had the privilege or do have the privilege of hanging out with the Jungle Bay motherfuckers, then you need to grow balls and get up and say, you know what? Shut the fuck up. What you're saying is disrespectful. And you know what? I don't fuck with that. That's what real motherfuckers do. We don't stand by and we watch as somebody gets assassinated, okay? We don't watch people get assassinated. We don't watch people get slandered in front of the public. No. I'm from New York. I'm from the Northeast. We don't watch shit like this when one of our homies who's done nothing but build out here in these streets gets attacked. What we do is we stand up like men and we fucking push back and we smack the shit out of anybody who tries to go and speak bad about one of our own. That's it. Brothers and sisters and family have fights, no doubt about it. We keep that in the back channels. We keep that private. Never do we go ahead and take that out publicly and try to air out somebody who is out here genuinely building and consistently being inclusive in whatever he does. So that's me addressing everybody live because I addressed that on Spaces, but I'm going to address it here, and it was quick. You see somebody who you know is delivering in this space getting attacked, stop being a bitch, stop being a pussy, fuck the tribe, and fuck the cabal. You stand up and you say something. This society, currently in this society, it's almost like it's okay to sit back and watch people get assaulted. Okay? in my hood, if somebody disrespecting anybody and somebody who actually brings legitimate shit to the table and who has been good out here in these streets to every individual, that shit stopped immediately. It's almost like watching a woman walk by, because I've seen this recently in New York City. You're watching women, walk these streets right now, and they're being assaulted by dudes, and yet dudes are standing there and doing absolutely nothing. We don't play that shit. Because back in the day, if you would touch somebody, especially a woman, if you would go ahead and dare put your hands on them, you would get decked the fuck out. You'd be lying right on the motherfucking sidewalk. That's all I have to say from my side. Obviously, I'm not on Twitter all day. I'm not on X all day. But when I saw that shit, I was like, for me personally, and seeing that a lot of people weren't standing up and saying shit, I was like, I'll say it. No problem. I have no problem saying anything. Because that man has fucking stood by me when I have been attacked. Not that I ever need anybody to, and everybody knows this about me, not that I ever need anybody to go ahead and do PR for me, have my back. I'm not used to shit like that. But Sakasa's been out there punching people in the faces anytime people have come at me sideways or try to slander my name. So again, that's where I stand, and I hope that the men in this room with balls have the decency to stand up if you ever see some shit like that happen. And that doesn't just apply to Sakasa. Anybody building, anybody we fuck with, anybody we call bro, brother, sister, we fucking stand there and we make sure that they're never fucking disrespected. And if you have any sort of beef, you take care of that shit in the back channels. You don't take that shit public in front of people, in front of this mob that only likes the fuckery, that only likes the bullshit. It's been addressed. It's been addressed. And we move on. The builders move on. The people that are here for generational wealth, we move forward. For those that are here for drama, stay on your sideline. Continue to try to profit off of drama. I don't. Please let me know how the revenue is reporting on drama or holding fucking rooms that have absolutely nothing to do with crypto, with NFTs, with this fucking ecosystem. Let me know how that plays out. Because you know what? If you do entertain this bullshit, guys, ladies and gentlemen, if you are entertaining the fuckery, the drama, the bullying, well, you're going to be the motherfucker that walks out of this ecosystem after the bull cycle is over with, broke. And you will deserve it. You will deserve every second of feeling broke. Because you are not serious. You are not serious about changing the course of your life, family's lives. You're not serious. So continue on. Because I can guarantee you when the bull run starts, nobody's participating in fuckery rooms. Everybody and new people that come into this space, they will be seeking out motherfuckers that can drop alpha. Alpha chats will be the meta. Okay, since everybody likes to throw out meta, alpha chats, spaces, live shows, YouTube, Rumble, that'll be the alpha. That'll be the alpha that people will be actually seeking. They will be seeking builders. They will be seeking personalities that will deliver them education, that they can write down on a piece of paper, right? Something like this, right? So you can write the shit down, they can research it, and they can go into something and get down. Guys are literally broke as fuck and really, really spending their time doing absolutely nothing. It's crazy. It's crazy, man. Big up. Episode 494, The Breakdown, powered by G Media, sponsored by Gemini. Sign up to Gemini. Get $100 in Bitcoin. I mean, like, if you guys can't even get free Bitcoin, $100 worth of Bitcoin, I don't know what to say to you. Holy shit. Holy shit, look at this. Charles, you're coming on today? Is Charles coming on today? What is this? I am blown away. Hold on one second. They told me Charles is not coming today. Oh boy, this is going to be an episode, baby. This is going to be an episode. All right, let me go ahead and bring Charles in here. We ready, right? We are ready to go ahead and conduct a really, really good and fascinating show today, ladies and gentlemen. Let me go ahead and get Charles in here. Charles. Where the hell? Why isn't, I hate X at times. All right, give me a second. It's mad slow right now. I have no clue what's happening. Where is it? I don't see him. Oh, you know what it is? He changed his profile picture. That's why. There we go. All right, here we freaking go. We'll have Charles coming on. Obviously, you know Charles from Cardano. We'll be speaking about, we got a lot of topics to speak about. And then, I obviously, Nobu, I need to go ahead and do that. What the hell are you talking about? All right, let's bring on the man, the myth, the legend. This man does more shows than the Rolling Stones. Let's go. Charles, how's it going?
It is good to see you, my friend. How you been?
I'm good. Everything is great. How's everything? You've been living the life, traveling.
Fuck, been traveling, man. I was in Brazil, Argentina, Uruguay, Guatemala, Vegas, Jackson Hole, Alaska, Barbados, Japan, and Singapore, all in 5 weeks. And I'm going to Switzerland next week. So I'm just on the road, man.
That's all?
Yeah, that's all. I'm just trying to keep up with you.
Listen, some people don't even leave their state. So that's what traveling to all those countries, what was something that actually stuck out to you out of Brazil, all the.
Yeah, well, most recently I was at Token 2049. So there's 25,000 people that showed up, and I think some of your crew were there as well. And it was just an amazing event. There were so many different ventures and products, and it was cool because half the people didn't even recognize me. So I said, "Wow, this industry is moving on, man. It's growing." We're about mid part through third generation crypto. We're entering the fourth generation, and people say get hyped again. It looks like there's going to be a bull market in 2025. All knock on wood, all things considered. And that means there's going to be a lot of new entrants into the marketplace. It's going to get frothy and crazy again, just like 2021. And we'll see what it looks like. But a lot of cool projects, a lot of cool technology. Japan was a lot of fun too. That's a very insular market, so you have to go to Japan to see what's going on. But I had lunch with the exchanges, 8 different Japanese exchanges. I spoke at Tokyo Tech, and then we had a community event in Tokyo and one in Osaka. So it was just really good to get a sense of what's going on there. They're pretty excited. GameFi is getting huge. Sony just got in with Sonium. They built the layer 2 on Ethereum. They're going to be probably bringing PlayStation into the cryptocurrency space. So that's going to be interesting because there's 180 million, 200 million users in that ecosystem. So if you get those guys into crypto, it's going to be pretty interesting.
Token 2049. I know you sat down with Leslie. Leslie had a great time doing an interview with you. Biggest takeaway from Token 2049 for you was, besides nobody, you just made a comment, which is funny, besides some people not recognizing you, which could be a good thing.
Yeah.
That could, that's not that bad of a thing since you're always harassed. But what stood out for you there?
The fact that the space is starting to really want to grow up a little bit. There was several satellite events that were connected to it, like real world assets and security tokens and tokenized real estate and these types of things. They're getting very serious about, like, how do we actually do that? Instead of just saying we should do that, they're saying, well, how do we do that and who should do that? And so there's a huge need for computational privacy, a huge need for identity. And there's already some blockchains that are launching, like we're doing Midnight, and it's entering testnet October 1st. Aleo just launched. That's an Andreessen Horowitz-backed venture. They raised about $300 million, and they're already at a $6 billion fully diluted market cap. So that category of computational privacy and selective disclosure, it's needed for real-world assets. It's needed for kind of real business, because every business has a public side and a private side. And we only really do the public stuff on blockchains right now, and to be able to bring that back in and do that in a way that people are okay with, that's kind of the next generation. There's still a very strong amount of liquidity in trading, and lots of GameFi projects and NFT projects, and meme coins are the big thing. Solana had Breakpoint there. 5,000 people showed up for it. A lot of twerking. They were having fun. But big part of that Solana culture is meme coin culture, and it's doing quite well. They're very bullish on that vertical.
You didn't go to the strip club with the rest of the
No,
degenerates,
I
right?
was too busy doing things like giving keynotes and interviewing, and although F1 was in town, so that was fun because my hotel was right next to the track. So while I laid in bed, I just heard zoom, zoom.
Did you participate or no?
Well, I could see it from the window. Literally,
Okay.
just go out on the balcony and you just see all the cars go by. So it's like awesome. You don't have to buy a ticket, and you have like the best view in the house, because I was at the Park Royal and the track came by, but you can have a God's eye view. Token was at the Marina Bay Sands, and that's like the largest hotel there. There's 40,000 rooms or some crazy amount, and they have a huge observation deck that's above the whole city. So if you actually sit in the infinity pool, you can see over the entire city and see the F1 track. But Singapore, really good food, ton of money is there, and it's kind of in a bull market. People are very excited about Singapore, and they're kind of curious. Every question I got, I was on CNBC, I was on Bloomberg, and all this. Who's going to win the election? What does it mean for Trump versus Kamala, and blah blah blah. So the election, it has a lot of impact, and there still is a perception Trump wins. It's the Giga Chad bull, the Giga bull. And if Harris wins, we don't know. Although Gary got burned the fuck in the Congress.
Yeah.
I mean, even his
I
own
was
party.
going to, I am going, so I was going to lead right into that. So Hester is sitting there, and she legitimately says, like, tokens are not a security.
Mm-hmm.
Essentially, that's what she told, and Gary's right there. And then he got roasted by Torres from New York, because he's like, okay, Gary, please tell me something about NFTs here. Are Yankee tickets considered a security? And like, I'm watching this, and like, he surgically annihilated him.
Yeah.
It was bad. Like, he was trying, but there was he pretended not to know who the Yankees were at that point. Like, it was that bad watching, Richie Torres just go into him. But what are your thoughts about them all sitting there and just completely getting assassinated?
I think Richie Torres is a Democrat, and he's part of the new part of the Democrats. He's 36. When you got your own party starting to set you on fire, it means you've become a political liability. And respect for Biden, they'll probably keep him till after the election, but it failed. And the thing is, the majority of holders of crypto are under the age of 30. The majority of people under age of 30 are liberal instead of conservative. So why would you go and attack the money in the pockets of people that vote for you? It's just not good politics. It's stupid. So the younger parts of the party, like Richie Torres and Ro Khanna and others, they're kind of taking a step back and saying, hey, hang on a second here. This is not good politics. And they're trying to create some space and distance. And I think that the party is going to have to make some concessions. What I heard is Scaramucci and Mark Cuban have been talking to Kamala, and they've been trying to help her develop some form of a crypto policy. The challenge is they've kind of painted themselves into a corner. So they'll say, oh, well, Bitcoin's not a security. Well, it's never been an issue with Gary. They approved the Bitcoin ETFs and there's never been a challenge here. What about everything else in this embodiment theory of securities where they're just Yankees tickets are securities now? I guess they went after OpenSea. They just got a Wells notice. So they can't help themselves. And they keep going and going and going. And, no one's backing down. Coinbase is not going to back down. Ripple's not going to back down. They're just going to keep chipping away at this disastrous policy. And I don't see how Gary has the durability to keep it up. So, I think the Harris side has to blink, and they have to offer some concession. It'll be too little too late. The other issue is it's the classification issue is like the least interesting. Is it a security or a commodity? Well, how do you regulate DeFi? How do you regulate DEXs? How do you regulate NFT marketplaces? How do you regulate all these yield products that people produce? Under a strict interpretation of the law, they will always be regulated products and have centralized regulation, but they're decentralized. So the US law has to evolve to be able to accommodate this. And even Singapore hasn't figured that out. And Dubai and others haven't figured that out. So that's the bigger challenge. And so when we get past Scary Gary, we kind of work our way into like the meat and potatoes of DeFi regulation. There's no way to make meaningful progress there, I think, in the short term. It's going to be pretty brutal.
He's supposed to be in office until 2026.
Yep.
Do you see him resigning? Because like he doesn't have to leave, but do you see him resigning if Trump wins in November?
Well, traditionally, you offer your resignation, whether you have to do it or not, and you allow the president to decide to take it or keep you on. Like CIA directors have had a long history of that. Like George Tenet was appointed, I believe, by Clinton, and he stayed on for Bush. Occasionally, presidents want you to resign. For example, George Bush Sr. was the CIA director, and when Jimmy Carter took office, he was fired the day of. So I don't think Trump can compel him to be terminated, but certainly he can massively reduce his scope and efficacy. And, knowing Gary, maybe he'll stay on just to be an irritant. Who knows? But I do believe that the only way we're going to get out of this is to pass legislation that basically strips from the Securities Exchange Commission the right to keep doing what they're doing. They can't be trusted as an agency at this point. The problem with FIA from Lummis's office is it still gives too much power to the SEC, discretionary authority of when to graduate something from a security. Because how the regulatory regimes have been proposed, whether it be FIT 21 or FIA, is that you start as a security and you work your way to commodity. And there's some form of test that you work your way through. In the case of FIT 21, they try to invent some sufficiently decentralized standard. In the case of FIA, they give the SEC the discretion to decide that through some sort of rulemaking, which doesn't make any sense to me. So I don't like that approach, given that we don't really have a strong enough objective test, and also technology changes over time. So whatever objective it is today, like you'll have to update the law every 5 years, and that doesn't work very well. And I don't like this idea of just saying, well, trust us, bro. The SEC will be honest in the future.
Yeah.
They haven't been. They've been a very dishonest party. I mean, Yankees tickets being fucking securities now. And Torres was absolutely right. It's so far beyond the pale, and it's actually disproportionately hurting minorities and young people because they're the ones participating in NFTs. So the party seems to be at war with itself over this absurd statement. But then again, that's just asset classification. Then there's the functional regulation component of doing stuff with it, like yield products and DeFi. And we're not even close to that. That's going to be a whole rat's nest of crap.
Welcome to the Breakdown, episode 494. We're closing in on 500 episodes, powered by G Media, sponsored by Gemini. Good people at Gemini. We're here with Charles. This man travels around the world. He's done so much in this space. He's built so much. He knows a lot. He's like an AI. He's like AI, bro. Like at the end of the day, he is AI. I saw a comment in here. Charles equals computer. Yes, that is true. If you ever get a chance to hang out with Charles in a space, you can go on for 6 to 7 hours and they ask him questions and he's just like Chad GPT, just letting it all fly out. Charles, I'm watching, I'm trying my best. You talk about Scaramucci. By the way, Scaramucci's scared to come on the show now because it's so weird. He hates Trump so bad that like he doesn't want to get into the topic, and it's fine because I'm not going to do just like a softball type of bullshit podcast. And we've done one before where it wasn't this bad. He wasn't he didn't hate Trump this bad. Now it's just like,
well, no, he's in with
Trump.
Harris, and so he can't be
Yeah,
seen endorsing at all. He was actually at an event I was at. It was at Brock Pierce's event, DNA something, and I
yeah.
was talking about Trump. He got up and left.
It's
So
crazy.
he just can't be seen with the big T, man.
These people. So like, I look at Cuban. You mentioned Cuban. I look at Scaramucci. You know, you go back a year or two. They're both like, Trump is cool. I have a few issues here and there, but Trump is cool. Now, both of them. Mark Cuban's hugging Gary before going on to CNBC. I've never seen some shit like this in my life, but I've tried to give Harris the benefit. I've sat back and I watched that MSNBC interview. I watched where else was she besides MSNBC? She did another interview with somebody. Oh, Oprah, the whole town hall, and the MSNBC. These two,
that's hard hitting journalism. Very very hostile environment she
100%.
walked into.
But MSNBC, right? Forget about Oprah. We know what Oprah is trying to do there. But MSNBC, even we know MSNBC's agenda.
Yeah.
But even when they have to fact check her, that interview from yesterday was embarrassing. Like, I can now understand why they don't let her speak to the media. Like, it was bad, Charles. Have you seen it?
So when you run for president of the United States, it's a crucible, and they burn you and burn you and burn you till we get to your purest, rawest form, and then you really show who you are, because you have to stay up 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. You get attacked 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. You got to raise money. You got to travel to hundreds of places. You literally do 3 to 5, maybe 7 events a day. You're kissing babies and shaking hands and trying not to get so tired that you mix it up and do it backwards, because that's a crime. So you just get your ass kicked. You just get your ass kicked. And she did this. She ran in 2020, and she got her ass kicked. She lost. She only got 2% of the vote, and for good reason, because she's a political lightweight. She doesn't have a vision. She doesn't have an agenda. She doesn't have a unifying message for America. She was implanted as VP, and then again implanted as the candidate. And now everybody in the Democrat Party, almost like a chairman of a Politburo in a communist state, are basically being told, this is your leader now. Get behind her and believe she will lead us to the grand days. So she should be campaigning aggressively and taking 5 or 10 interviews a day and outlining agenda and vision for America. Also, she needs to deliver a speech of where she's different from Biden. Are they voting for a continuity of the Biden policies, or are they voting for a totally new face, a fresh face? Right. So where is she different on the economy? Where is she different on healthcare? Where is she different on foreign policy? But she's not going to do that, because what the media basically told her is, we're going to make this election Trump and not Trump. So every single thing is, do you like Trump? Vote for Trump. You don't like Trump? Vote for Harris. No other discussion is required. That's literally it. They've compressed the whole election to Donald Trump. That's why they mentioned him 168 times at the DNC. Trump, 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 Trump. And they hate the guy so much that they would be willing to vote for a ham sandwich over Donald Trump. They literally were willing to vote for Weekend at Bernie's. I mean, they were trying that. It's like, guy's a corpse. They just wheel him around, he's just sitting and slumped over like Pope John Paul II was when he had the Parkinson's, like a year before he's out. And he's just going like, why is this a lifetime office? This is terrible. I mean, literally, this was Biden. He just looks terrible in any dimension and capacity. Yet they were still going to, at least 80 million of them, pull the lever for him, because they weren't voting for Biden. They were voting for not Trump on the ballot. So why does she have to answer questions if that's the election? The strategy is, don't hide. Because anything is a net negative for her. If she says something positive, well, the people who like her are already going to vote for her. She says something negative, she might lose a few voters from it. So just run the whole agenda as Trump is evil, and they say, well, I can't vote for him. So either they don't vote, or they vote for her as the alternative to prevent the evil Trump from getting into office. That's their entire campaign strategy that they have. And it looks like it's working right now. The problem is Trump has inflicted wounds on himself that were completely unnecessary. Walking into a debate where it's 3 versus 1, not preparing and having no meaningful way of attacking Harris, And talking about dogs being eaten by Haitian immigrants it's just like so stupid as a strategy. It's so stupid. He should have just said, I want to debate on these terms. I beat you guys, and I get the right to do that. And then let her basically say no and not have a debate at all. It would have been better for him. The other thing is there's no unifying message that Trump is bringing out there. It's a hodgepodge of different things, and he's just giving everything away. No tax on tips, and now he's got Robert Kennedy. So we're going to do MAHA, make America healthy. I guess we're doing that now. And I don't know where Kennedy begins and Trump ends. Like when Kennedy's like, we're going to get the fluoride out of the water. Oh, okay. Well, is that Trump's official policy or not? I don't know. I mean, I guess he's doing that now, right? And then it's just, I'll release, the Kennedy assassination, and I'll do this and I'll do that. And it's just like, I'll give anything to anybody if you vote for me. There's a desperation that Trump has, that's there. And there's no unifying message that's there. Like, how are we going to bring everybody together? Again, self-inflicted. After he got shot the first time, the guy, when he went to the Republican National Convention, could have had this rousing, beautiful speech about unity and brought everybody together and picked somebody like Tulsi Gabbard, for example, as his VP. Democrat, bring people together. She's very popular. It also really would have helped him against Kamala because she was the Kamala killer in 2020 when she ran against her. But unfortunately, he picked J.D. Vance, who's like mini-me. Literally just made him a lab and carries him in a suitcase with him. And JD is like a spike the football. He thinks he's just going to win in a landslide because he thought they were running against a corpse, and it's like, it's guaranteed. So he didn't prep for the RNC speech, and he goes out there and he just riffs for 45 minutes incoherently. He's showing his age. He's 77 years old. It's hard when you're 77 to be the president of the United States. It's just, there's so much going on. That's our whole grievance we had was Biden. He's too old for the job. But somehow we all forget that Trump is 77. He doesn't exercise. He eats McDonald's every fucking day. And, he's had a pretty gregarious lifestyle. And so it's starting to catch up with him a little bit. And he's not as sharp as he used to be. And the issue is that's okay if you believe he's got a deep bench with him. The problem is that he's not really shown that deep bench. It's just tribes that are all vying for power. So you'll have Ivanka back with Jared, and then now you got Robert Kennedy. I don't know his role in the administration. And then you got all these alt-right people. I guess maybe the My Pillow guy will get some, who knows, but who are the serious people that are going to come in and work with this administration to kind of help us solve these very significant problems? That's why you need a unity ticket and bring people together. Well, here's the problem. When he was president, he had 44 cabinet members he appointed. 40 of the 44 did not endorse him. And all the mainstream Republicans really are not falling in line with him. So, and we just call them rhinos and exile them. So Mitt Romney's dead and all these other people are dead. Okay, well, that's great, but what's the bench to replace them? So you got Elon Musk. I don't know where his politics are, but I guess he's part of the administration now. Do we really know if he's conservative? Like, is he pro-Second Amendment and like all these other things that matter to Republicans? We don't really know. Maybe, maybe not. But he's popular, so Trump just brought him into the inner circle. So that's the problem with the Trump administration is like, I'm a pro-crypto guy, and obviously Trump is the pro-crypto guy. If you're pro-crypto, you got to pull that lever for that. But then you got to lead. You got to run the country. How is he going to cut the budget? What is the process for that? How is he going to work with the Congress? Like, what is his relationship with Speaker Johnson? What is his relationship with Chuck Schumer and Mitch McConnell and Mitch's replacement? Is he going to back Senator Thune or somebody else? Who's going to be? Is it Barrasso going to be the Senate Majority Leader or Minority Leader? Also, what is his campaign doing for the rank and file Republicans? You call a president who doesn't have the House in the Senate when they get elected dickless. You can't do shit. Okay, correct. So your entire agenda is shut down. So he's going to do all this stuff. He needs the Congress. And so how is he going to have a majority in the Congress and majority in the Senate? So when he went in 2022 and endorsed people, he endorsed Herschel Walker. I met Herschel Walker. He came to Wyoming to Cheyenne Frontier Days. I met him, shook his hand. He was a very nice guy. He repeated the same story twice in the 35 seconds I talked to him. Okay, I was not really saying this guy should be senator, yet Trump endorsed him. And then Trump endorsed Dr. Oz, who's so unpopular in Pennsylvania that he lost to a guy with literal brain damage, Fetterman. I mean, Fetterman in that debate is like, the first word was, "Good night, everybody." I was like, what are we doing here? This is madness. So he's picked like losers to go in for the Congress and the Senate. And I don't know if he's actually going to be able to carry that or not. He's done nothing for the downstream tickets, just outside of causing division. So there's a scenario where he gets elected, but dickless. He has no House or Senate, or he keeps the House, but not the Senate. Then nothing gets passed. And the Democrats do what the Republicans did with Obama, shut everything down. And that was like from 2010 on, shut it down. We're just going to basically neuter the agenda. So I don't know, David. It's very frustrating for me because I'm an American. You're American. We just want it to work. We want shit to get done. We want an agenda to get done. I would like cryptocurrency legislation to be passed in the first 180 days. We got to solve the national debt. It's killing us. We got to end the wars. We got to make America healthy again. We got to do a whole bunch of shit to actually get ourselves back on the road. We elect this guy for 4 years. It'll be the left going, just 4 fucking years straight of that. Okay, you just turn it on. It's just going to be crazy the whole fucking time. We elect Harris, the Republicans will be insane because Trump won't concede. He won't say I lost. He'll say it was rigged, and that's why I lost. So then another 4 years of it's rigged, and then Trump won't go away. He'll run again, and as an 81-year-old in 2028, and we'll have MAGA 3. Revenge of testicular cancer. I mean, this is just, what the fuck are we doing here, man? This is crazy. We got to move on from this. We had such great choices, Vivek Ramaswamy and all these others, just new blood, new faces. DeSantis was there. We had like people that actually knew how to lead and govern who were not connected to this madness. And instead, the party picked the 77-year-old guy who's just not with the game. It's killing me. It's killing me because I just want it to work, and I can't vote for Harris. I don't even know who she is. We don't know where she is or what she does, and she's gonna be an empty president. So what do you do? I'm
it's funny. Like people, I say this all the time. I can be a Republican, but I want to vote for the best person possible, right?
Right.
And like you guys bring up Harris. I mean, I sit back and I'm like, Trump dusted Clinton, and I consider Hillary Clinton to be very, very smart.
Right.
You can say whatever you want about her, but she is an intelligent woman. Harris stands no chance against Hillary. So we're going to put somebody like this in office to be president. We don't know what she stands on. I have no clue what her politics are, what her policies are. I have absolutely no clue. Zero. All she does is bring up Trump. Her latest is Trump caused immigration.
Right.
He calls for all, the 20 million immigrants we have in this country are all due to Trump. Right. Trump, in his term, which she got fact-checked right on the spot by MSNBC, it was because of him that we lost jobs here in the United States of America, and that it was because of Bidenomics that we're slowly coming back up, and the inflation. But I'm like, I have no clue what she's saying. What she doesn't even know. If I asked her what a tariff was, like I was watching this, and if they would have asked her what is a tariff, I don't think she would have been able to explain it. She would have just came out and said, you know what? I have grown up in a middle class family, and then I just would have lost my shit at that point.
Oh my God.
So yes, you're right. We've talked about this multiple times. There should be more than 2 parties. We should have more selections when it comes down to voting for the president of the United States, because that is a very important position. And though a lot of all this stuff gets done in Congress and in the Senate, the person in the Oval Office, that person represents us. Other countries look and they're like, man, we're not going to fuck with America because that person is in office.
Right.
That's how I feel personally. Like you can say whatever you want about Obama, but nobody was fucking with Obama. Period. Like we can go and look at what happened with Ukraine, whatever. But I'm saying for the most part, he can come into a room, articulate himself very well, win over the crowd, speak well, articulate himself. I'll say that about Trump. Trump had a presence. Like we didn't have wars under Trump. He had a presence to him. He wanted to negotiate deals. For the first time in history, we had a business person in the White House.
Right.
And I'm all for it. I'm all for it. We didn't have this deficit of $35 trillion. And look, that blame can be passed on to everybody. But what I'm saying is, the economy was thriving, crypto was thriving. But all
Right.
of a sudden, the Democrats came in, and now we're being choked out. You've experienced it. I mean, I'm not. It's not me making up shit. I mean, everybody's experienced it. Charles, we shouldn't have American citizens. Here's my beef. We shouldn't have American citizens here starving. Okay, we have
Yeah.
American citizens here, born here, starving. They can't pay rent. They can't afford food. They got kids. They got to work 3 jobs and they still can't make it. That's
Right.
not what the United States of America stands for. We're giving billions of dollars out to Ukraine. We're the ones starving. Our veterans coming back here with no limbs, protecting this
Right.
country, doing protecting us from these proxy wars. Coming back here, they're given a VA card. That's it. Have a nice day. That should never ever be the United States of America. That's not the way we should ever operate. That's why I'm pissed off.
I mean, I grew up in Hawaii, and I remember, you know, Lahaina burnt down, and all the people in Lahaina, they got $700 checks.
Yeah,
For the money we put to Ukraine, they could not only completely rebuild Lahaina, they could give everybody who died $1 million or more. I mean, it's just so insane. You're absolutely right. We don't take care of our own people, and that was the appeal that Trump had when he ran for president in 2016. He said, "They're screwing you. I'm part of the billionaire class, and I know how they are screwing you. And I don't need anybody's money. I can't be bought. I'm gonna fucking get America and make it great again by getting all these bastards that are screwing you." And it was very seductive and it was very appealing. You're right. He beat Hillary and she was a political machine, but he didn't have a record. He was a complete outsider. And the
yeah,
challenge is in 2024 is he's running against losing an election and his 4-year record as president. And the problem is that that record is not pristine. The media has told that story for him. In the last 4 years, actually 8 years, because of, from his administration now, 98% of the media coverage about Trump's been negative. There's been hundreds of tell-all books and videos and documentaries and movies and all these things. So the problem is he can't run on his record because whether it was a good record or a bad record, it's perceived to be a negative record. He's so
yeah.
tarnished, and he should have recognized that when I ran into Ivanka Trump and Jared Kushner at the Milken Institute before he decided to run. And I asked Jared, I said, "Is Trump going to run?" And they said, "Well, we don't think so." And no normal person would want to go for round 3 after everything that's happened. And then they basically knew how to kill him. They said, well, what we're going to do is just start charging him with crimes, continue the negative coverage 24/7. And they're not focusing on white men for that messaging. They're not focusing on his base. What they're doing is they're focusing on certain groups, women under 35, et cetera, et cetera. And they have figured out a model to basically make that guy pure evil in those particular groups. And there's nothing he can do or say, and you can't argue with facts on these types of things. So as a leader, sometimes you can't be in the room. You have to say, look, I'm too polarizing and divisive, and if the country needs unity, somebody else needs to come in and take this role, which is why I endorsed Robert Kennedy, because he was the best option we had, given everybody was running. And I would have been very comfortable with Vivek or somebody else coming into that role. And I thought, okay, fresh blood and new, and the media would not be able to attack them the same way that they attacked Trump. Unfortunately, now we're here. So what he could have done is leverage the assassination attempt in a way with a proper vice president. And he could have said, okay, I'm going to take a different kind of role. I'm going to lead from behind, and I'm going to have the younger people come in. I'm going to enable these people to basically fill the government. New ideas are going to come, and I've learned how this government works by being a victim of it, from the lawfare that's attacked me to literally being shot to all this stuff
Yeah.
that's happened. And the American people would have said, yeah, that actually makes sense because we still are being screwed. The Democrats don't want to admit the last 12 of 16 years, they've been in charge. 8 years of Obama, 4 years of Biden-Harris. So they're blaming every problem in America when of the last 16 years, 12 of the 16, they're the ones in charge.
Correct.
Also, the bureaucracy, the majority of senior people in the bureaucracy were planted by Obama.
Correct.
Because they got hired then, and now they've had 10, 15 years of seniority to work their way into office, and now they're in the senior leadership. So all these problems in the bureaucracy, they're a direct consequence of Team Blue's leadership. And so this election could be a referendum on that. And it just keep it simple, stupid. You just look at the prices. Say, well, Harris wants to talk about Orange Man bad. I want to talk about how your shopping cart has fewer and fewer groceries for $100 in it. How when you pump your car, you can never get a full tank of gas again. You used to always have a full tank of gas. Now you buy what you can, but that's getting less and less. And by the way, 23 million illegal immigrants in the country. They're taking your jobs, and for certain verticals and demographics, that would work beautifully. And he'd win the election. Instead, what he's done is he's made the election about these mercurial things like Haitian immigrants eating dogs and all this other stuff. He's just taking the bait, and it's so stupid as a campaign strategy, and it doesn't do anything for him as a campaign strategy, And there are very real things too, like the second assassination attempt. That is mind-blowing to me. So the day before Trump decides on a whim, I'm going to go golfing in the morning. So nobody knew that he was going to be at that golf course playing golf until like last minute. And this guy waited 14 hours, almost the moment Trump decided, in a bush that wasn't covered by the Secret Service. How does that happen? It's got to be an inside job. There's just like, he just got lucky. He got divine, premonition, like the angels came down and told him where Trump was going to be and these types of things. The president's movements are not publicly disclosed.
Yeah.
And the media is just like, well, it is what it is. We just got to move on.
They would have never done that if it was Biden or, God forbid, obviously, but if it was Biden or whoever other than Trump, they would have been all over. It would have been all over the news until the FBI came out and stated that this was a second assassination attempt. They didn't want to run with this. It was just shots fired by the golf course. That's it. It was just, you know what it is? I also see a lot. I see Trump talking a lot about the things that you just stated. I feel like the media, unless it's Fox or like I guess the News Nation or some crap like that, they're not. MSNBC is not going to push it out there. CNN is not pushing it out there. All the big time media companies are not pushing, Trump out there unless it's something negative. So like, and there is plenty of material when he does, like, I agree, when he says like they're eating cats and dogs, and which is now a viral, music clip on TikTok.
Right.
When he said that, I couldn't stop laughing. I mean, I literally was drinking water at that very moment, and he said it, and I just spit it. I mean, it's just, I thought, I've never seen some shit like this. First, I'm watching it. I think I tuned into like the WWE because of the 3-on-1 situation.
Right.
Attacking them. And then he says, out of anger, notice, I think he came in there with the approach of, I'm going to take her out the same way I did Biden. But I think once she said, well, nobody comes to your rallies, it became an ego thing. The script went out the window. He's like, I'm going to destroy everybody now. What do you mean nobody comes to my rallies? My rallies are huge. Like, It went into a whole, God damn it, what are you doing? I started screaming, don't play into this. What he said at the end, you've been in office for 3.5 years. Why can't you do it right now? Kind of when he did that whole thing at the end, I'm like, that's how you should have started off.
Exactly. Just kept it there. Kept it message discipline. But
you keep her in the corner.
It's hard when you're 77. You got ego the size of a mountain to keep message discipline. You're just getting stale. You're getting old. You don't have those instincts. Trump was a killer. When he was 45, 50, he was a killer.
With Oprah, when Oprah was asking him to run. I don't know if you saw that in about 1988. I posted this clip up. I'm like, she's asking him, Donald, what would you do? He's breaking it down. He's still running on the same policies.
Yes.
From 40 years ago, he's like, this is what I would do. They're stealing from us. This is the American worker. Keep it in America. Man, and he was going fast with it. It like quick on his feet. Man, this, I was very disappointed with ABC. You knew that was a setup. That was a complete setup. 3-on-1. They didn't fact check or nothing. The Project 2025 stuff. Nobody fact
very fine people comment or the other bullshit.
Also, another thing which is also clipped up by mainstream media, Charles.
Yeah.
Which is like they don't show the other piece where he said not the neo-Nazis, not the white supremacists. I'm talking about the other good people that attend. Like they do not show that. And obviously, you were right the way you came in today. they will make him look bad. It's
Yeah,
it's
24/7.
either Trump or
Or
not.
when she said in the debate that there's no U.S. troops in war zones for the first time in 100 years, and there were troops watching the debate live, and somebody
I saw
posted a clip of this who were in Syria, and they're like, "Where the fuck are we?"
that.
I just like, it's like, how disrespectful is it to the people in uniform saying, "Well, I know you're sacrificing, you're literally in a war zone, but I'm just going to lie and say you're not, and I'm going to be your commander."
It's
I mean,
crazy.
you can't lead a
How does
nation.
she not know, as the vice president, how does she not know where the troops are? And that should, my thing is like, yeah, I know it's craziness. ABC, horrible, horrible moderating. CNN did a better job.
Yeah.
It's, for all intents and purposes, they did a great job compared to ABC.
Yeah.
But I would think, though, the loser, the winner never asks for a rematch.
Right.
So that's really, that told me everything I needed to know about Kamala's campaign. That they felt like she didn't win. Like, and me and you could have went up there and just stood up at the podium, and we would have won.
I'd have a lot of fun.
I know you. You would have had fun. But I'm saying, like, anybody with a pulse, compared to you're coming off of what Biden was doing, you would have came on stage. You're already up 50 points just by breathing.
Right.
So, but he did reach out. Quick thing, because I know you got to go. My thing is, he reached after he got the first attempt on his life. He reached out to RFK Jr. and he did offer him the VP position, and RFK said, "I don't want it." And he did give an interview about it, saying that when you're the VP, you can't really do anything. Is that like, I would have loved? You imagine that team, RFK along with Trump. I mean, we're not even talking about Kamala anymore. Everybody's, getting prepared for, Trump's, when is it, him coming into office, president-elect and all.
Right.
What did you think of that when you heard, like, he turned down the VP position?
It made me sad. And there's been some debate whether it was offered or not. I mean, RFK said it, and Trump hasn't confirmed or denied it. Given that RFK endorsed Trump when he first was trying to stay independent and run, I said, "Oh, okay, it makes sense why you turn it down." But then after he endorsed, I said, "Well, there's more prominence in the VP role, and it gives you a larger platform to talk about these things." So I don't know. I think Trump would have won in a landslide if he picked Kennedy, and they actually found a way to make that ticket work. Kennedy's wife really does not like Trump. You got to remember, he's still a Democrat. He's Democrat royalty, and the only reason he's not on the blue side is they burned him to the ground. They violated their own laws and processes. He ran, and they basically said, "There's no path forward for you to win the nomination. We're handing it to Biden with or without your consent." And then he runs as an independent, and they sue to keep him off the ballots. Now they're suing to keep him on the ballots. I mean, the party of democracy, right? And then he actually called Kamala's campaign first when the endorsement came and tried to work out a deal there. They told him go fuck himself. So, she's that arrogant, and she's definitely not a uniter. The problem with the Democrats and Robert Kennedy is he's exposing some deeply uncomfortable realities that Americans are facing. 60% of our people have a mental illness or a chronic ailment. I mean, when we were growing up, how many people had peanut allergies and gluten intolerance and all these things? It's not very common. Now, every fucking person you meet, I'm breaking out into hives. I have this allergy. I have that allergy. We're getting sicker and sicker and sicker as a society. We have record high cancer rates amongst the youth, especially colon cancer. Where did that come from? It just came out of nowhere. So the food is poison, and our medicine's not working very well. And we spend $4.5 trillion a year on the healthcare industry. So that one issue alone is a winner because everybody knows somebody or personally is feeling like they're not at their best. And that's directly related to entrenched interests, basically taking over our food supply and our healthcare industry and making a lot of money off of the fact that we're unhealthy and miserable. So Kennedy, by expressing this, well, who is the biggest donor to the Democrat Party? The pharmaceutical industry, the AMA, all these guys inside this, the food industry. Okay, they're the ones who are forking over huge amounts of cash to Team Blue. So if he comes in and he's like, "Oh, we're doing these inconvenient things," suddenly that public-private partnership doesn't look so strong anymore. The other thing is he's attacking the censorship core, like this whole idea of controlled media. the social networks like the Googles and the Facebooks and all these other guys, and how much influence they have over the spoken word. He's saying, hey, we need to change that. Well, those are the biggest donors to the Democrat Party. Like 96%, I think, of the donations of Google's rank and file went to Democrats. It is a blue company, as is Microsoft, and as is Apple, as is Facebook, big tech. It's the Saudi Arabia of California. So it's hard for him to fit in that apparatus because he's an old school Democrat, Kennedy Democrat, was like pro-union, pro-blue collar, the common guy, kick big companies in the teeth, fight for the little guy, that type of mentality. And he actually means it because his uncle meant it and his dad meant it. Whereas the Democrats just say it, but then they go back and start sucking on Apple's teat again. And they go and they get all the money from the big guys. The billionaire class runs the Democrat Party. Reid Hoffman and Mark Cuban and all these other, Bill Gates, it's Eric Schmidt. They're all Democrats. Yeah. And they have enormous amounts of influence and power. And in the Republican billionaires, there's not as many of them, and they are much more fragmented and sanguine, in how they approach these things. The Koch brothers are kind of the boogeyman that they always mention. Well, that's just two guys, now one, because one's dead. And yeah, they've had an influence on the Republican Party, but by no means do they control it. If they did, Trump would not be the nominee. Yeah, AFP fought diligently both in 2016 and 2024 to try to prevent him from becoming the nominee. Whereas the Democrats the billionaire class has total control over that party, which is why all the policies are pro-corporatist, either pro-corporatist media, pro-corporatist pharmaceutical industry, all these types of things. I was just thinking about how anti-Democrat it is to say, we're going to give a bunch of money to a multi-billion-dollar company to make a product. We're going to force everybody to consume that product. And if there's a bad outcome of that product, you can't sue them. So they don't have any risk in the production of it. You are forced to consume it, and they have no liability if there's a problem with it. And that's literally what they did with the vaccines.
I was going to say, ding, 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 vaccines, ladies and gentlemen. Vaccines.
So how do you run as the party of the common man when that's your so Kennedy is the most hated. He's even more hated than Trump because he shows the Democrats for who they used to be. And he's the last one of them that seems to be even a semblance of who they used to be. And it's really, really problematic for him to rise in prominence. That's why I thought he would have been a perfect VP, and he would have been the perfect contrast with the Democrat Party and just absolutely devastated them. Also, look at the foreign policy. He's one of the most qualified people around to talk about the consequences of the U.S. foreign policy and what it's done over the last 5 decades and how really terrible it's been. And how we need to rein in these unaccountable bureaucracies like the CIA and others. And he'd say, hey, they kind of killed my dad and my uncle, and so maybe I got an axe to grind with these fuckers. And we got to figure this out. There's no other candidate that really has that. Tulsi's growing into it. She was a lieutenant colonel in the army, and her own party turned on her. Hillary Clinton called her a traitor, a Russian asset. So she was a combat medic going into a war zone, pulling out bodies and helping people. And then she's told by her own political party that she works for Vladimir Putin. A person who never served said that. And that's what the mainstream media runs for. So I felt that Tulsi could also be very effective, and she's less polarizing in many ways than Robert Kennedy. But she still has that same effect of creating a broad contrast of saying, I didn't leave the party left me. And this is the big ticket unity party, as opposed to this small corporatist, party that the Democrat Party has become.
Tulsa and Vivek have one of they're surgical when they answer. I mean, I love listening to them. When they break it down, they're so calm, cool, and collective where you cannot get under their skin. Whatever question is thrown their way, they're so good at answering it. Charles, I'm glad that you're back from your world tour. Okay, Brazil, Argentina, Japan, China, like all over the place. It's good to seriously. I missed you, man.
I missed you too, man. I'm just about to go back on the road again. I'm going to London and to Switzerland, and in Switzerland, I guess I'm getting some award from the Swiss government for the whole Ethereum thing. So they're the only people that still like me for Ethereum, I guess. So Swiss president's giving us an award for that, the founders. And then London, I got some workshops, and then I'm going to Argentina to meet up with President Milei. So that's going to be a heck of a lot of fun. He's the only libertarian Austrian economist president in the entire world. And it's like we're electing Ron Paul. This is like meeting the Pope for me. It's a big deal, you know.
I gotta apply for a position as a coffee boy, something. Charles, as always, it's a pleasure to have you on the show. Charles is on the show every other week, Thursdays, at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Man, it's good to have you back. Congratulations. The founder of Cardano, unlike others that put a different title onto you, the founder of Cardano, ladies and gentlemen. I saw that. And they're really whack. Guys, stop with the hit pieces.
I gotta talk about Cointelegraph real quickly. We got 2 minutes, and I'm gonna talk about Cointelegraph. Those sons of bitches. So when I was at the Token 2049, I did 8 interviews, and everybody, the FT and all these other guys. So Cointelegraph calls me in, and I sit down with them, and we talk for like 45 minutes. And the purpose of the interview is to talk about the governance upgrades to Cardano and the launch of Midnight. So I had one comment saying, you have kind of a dictatorial setup with Ethereum where a small group of people basically make the decision. You don't vote for those people, and you don't really get to choose them. And they have all the money and the power and the developers. And then you have Bitcoin, which is anarchy. So the whole point of Cardano governance is that it's a middle ground where you actually get to vote for your leadership. You actually get to vote on the roadmap, these types of things. So it's a very different model, and it's superior. And over time, it gets better and better because there's no way to run it on either side. Either you don't update anything, or it gets too hard to get consensus because you don't represent people. So then they run broad headline, 45 minutes. Okay. And that was like 2-minute conversation. Charles Hoskinson says Vitalik is a dictator. And it syndicates throughout the entire cryptocurrency space. And then you got all these people on ETH being like, see, Charles is a bad guy, man. It's like, oh, fuck you guys. Honestly, come on. And also to Cointelegraph, be better, guys. Really, if I'm going to give you an interview and we're going to talk about Midnight and computational privacy, and we're going to talk about how Cardano's killing it right now, we just did a massive upgrade. We got a constitutional convention. We're meeting with heads of state. We're doing all this stuff. It's amazing to see that ecosystem. And the only thing you can do is dredge up Charles says Vitalik's a dictator and put that as your fucking headline. Get fucking bent. Honestly, get fucking bent, Cointelegraph. Be fucking better. You're trash for that. So that's it. No more interviews with them. I'm done with these guys. Everything is live now. If they want an interview, it's not going to be through the filter of a journalist. We're going to do an interview where we sit down and the entire unedited interview is out and people can watch it. Because I'm so tired of the crypto media and what they do and the divisions that they cause. Look, I don't got any problem with Vitalik, okay? They're the ones talking about me, not me talking about them. Vitalik, an Ethereum story, just came out. And they attacked me in that documentary, and they made me look like shit in that documentary. Another documentary is coming out. They make me look for 10 years ago from some shit. They didn't interview me. They didn't talk to me.
It's coming? Is it coming from Vitalik himself, or is it coming from people that are next to him that are pushing
I don't give a shit who is this coming from. They're the ones obsessed with us. They're copying our roadmap. They're trying to do liquid non-custodial staking. They're trying to do extended UTXO. They can't say the C word. Cardano is a sin. You can't mention it in Ethereum land. So they're like, we need to embrace UTXO. If only we can make it programmable. If only someone has done this. We'll have to figure this out. It's like, really? Is there somebody around that maybe figured that out a few years ago? I don't know. I don't know. Who knows? So that's their thing. For us, it's like, yes, we will talk in reference to governance. And yes, they have a foundation. There's a small group of committees that really aren't elected. There's no democratic process for it, okay? And they have the money, the developers, and the resources. So they say, oh, well, you can participate. Yeah, sure. If you have a few $100 million and lots of developers, you create a client and 10% of the ecosystem adopts it, of course you can have a say. How is that better than if you hold Ether, you get to vote on your roadmap and these types of things? Because then everybody gets a say. The founder literally wrote, on-chain governance can't work. Vitalik wrote a blog post about this. So he's against the idea of creating an on-chain government for Ethereum. And we have one. So that was the only point. And I said, how is it going to sustain itself long-term if you run something that gets bigger and bigger and has more and more interest and more people on it, if only a small group of people that are unelected have all this power? It's a philosophical question. I'd be happy to have a debate with Vitalik about it. Let's do it. But we put our money where our mouth was as an industry. We spent 2 years building together in 25 plus countries, now 50 with the Constitutional Convention, the largest on-chain governance in the history of the industry. When Ethereum did its fork, everybody called it the merge. Elon Musk was talking about it. Eric Schmidt tweeted about it. All these people are excited about it. We got no mention from Cointelegraph when Chang came out. Outside of, Chang came out, congratulations. $600 million treasury now in the hands of the community. The largest on-chain government in the history of our industry. 100 plus countries participating on the voting side, 50 on the Constitutional Convention, 25 on the workshop side for design of that SIP, plus 2 years of effort went into it. And it's the biggest governance experiment ever done, tripartite model. No mention, none whatsoever. We can't even talk about it. Isn't this relevant for anybody who's doing a project? So if you have a DeFi application, if you're building a layer one, if you're building foundations, wouldn't you want to know about this? Because maybe it's useful to your projects, whether you're a Cardano maxi or not. Because you're saying decentralized. Are you just saying because you want to evade securities laws? Or are you saying because you actually care about decentralization? You actually want the token holders and the people in your ecosystem to have a voice and say. And if you care about that, maybe, just maybe, what we've just done is of significance. That is the article. But instead, it's Charles says Vitalik is a dictator. And for that reason, I'm out, Cointelegraph. All right. Dave, I wish I could stay and chat forever, but I got to catch a flight. Thank you so much, my friend.
That is Charles, the founder of Cardano. Charles will be back on here in 2 weeks. He's flying out. He's now going to Switzerland and Japan, whoever. He's flying. But thank you, Charles. I appreciate you.
Gillette for stem cells.
I want to talk to you in the next 2 weeks about that. I want to talk to you about stem cells.
I'm gonna have a hole in my stomach. They're harvesting my stem cells. I got a plastic surgeon up there. He's gonna do that little micro lipo, get about 100 milliliters out, get the fat, and then they're gonna spin it and do all this stem cell stuff. You know, it's like the Swedish chef. He's like, my fucking fat. He's gonna have some fun. But then once we have the stem cells, we can do stuff with the stem cells. So we're doing an FDA trial with them. So it's gonna be fun.
That's cool. Charles, appreciate you coming on. As
Absolutely.
always.
Cheers.
Have a great one. That is Charles. Okay. I love Charles, man. The motherfucker is so he's misunderstood. And it's kind of like, I think of Charles kind of like Trump, where they've, this ecosystem, our ecosystem here in the crypto space has done everything possible to make sure that you don't hear Charles. Up until recently, a lot of people didn't get to really sit down and listen to the man speak. And that's fucked up. That's some fucked up shit. And I'm glad we do this show every 2 weeks where Charles comes on and we talk about whether it's crypto, Cardano, whatever it is. Obviously, we get into politics and you see how passionate he is about politics. But I'm glad that we get to go ahead and not only just showcase the crypto ecosystem, but from my standpoint, I'm glad that we get to showcase Charles, man, because he's one of the guys that when I came into this space that I knew about, and my perception hasn't really changed. He's a fucking genius. There's a lot. I don't want to say a lot. There's plenty. Like, there's a few other people that I would go ahead and classify or use the word genius when it comes to being in this space. Guys, welcome to the breakdown. Episode 494. We're closing in on 500. I got to tell you, Trump. Hold on one second. Give me a second. Because everybody was blowing up my fucking phone. Damn, I got so many text messages. Shit. DMs and text messages, man. Hold on. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, that is a show. I know I was going to go into buying stuff. You know what I'll do? I will do a space today. I didn't want to do a space, but I will do a space today. And the space will be on what am I buying? And I will be buying in real time. A lot of the stuff I've already gone into, but I might want to go ahead and take or buy a little bit more of it. I really did want to talk about the interview with Harris and how bad she was with MSNBC, where even even MSNBC, the host of MSNBC, was just shaking her head, and she continued to fact check her the entire time. I don't know how you can vote for Harris at this point. I really don't. I don't understand it. There is no policy. She's not good for crypto. If you're here for crypto, it's not good for crypto. I would really. I tell you to sit back and think about this shit really hard. But to crypto, market looks good. Shit is sending. Let's fucking go. You're not bullish enough. My name is David Gokhshtein. I am the founder of, you already know what the fuck I'm the founder of. I'm the founder of Gokhshtein Media. This is powered by Gemini. And my ass is gone.